Something unusual is about to happen between March 5th and March 6th, and almost nobody is talking about it. For just 48 hours, a rare cosmic alignment forms in the sky, what ancient astrologers once described as the cosmic door. They believed that during this short window, the universe becomes more responsive to human decisions. Not slowly, but instantly. Most people will scroll past this moment like any other day, but those who notice it often experience something strange, a sudden opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere, an unexpected ending that clears space for something better, or a powerful realization that forces a life-changing decision. Moments that feel random at first, but later reveal themselves as turning points in destiny. And here's the part that makes this even more fascinating. This exact energetic pattern has appeared multiple times throughout history, and every time it did, major personal and global shifts followed. So the real question isn't whether something will happen. The real question is this: will you recognize the moment when the door opens, or will it pass you by? Because before this video ends, I'm going to reveal 3 powerful cosmic signals hidden inside this 48-hour window. And the final signal is the reason many spiritual teachers quietly warn: never ignore this moment. Long before modern telescopes existed, ancient skywatchers spent their nights studying the stars. They noticed something fascinating. The universe didn't move randomly. It moved in cycles, patterns that repeated over months, years, and sometimes even centuries. These early observers believed the sky wasn't just a collection of distant lights. They believed it was a cosmic clock, one that opened and closed energetic gateways at very specific moments in time. Moments when the invisible connection between thought, intention, and reality seemed to grow stronger. They called these moments cosmic gates, windows of time when the universe became unusually responsive to human awareness and action. And according to many astrologers, one of these rare windows appears again between March 5th and March 6th. Now here's where things become truly interesting. If you ask an astronomer, they will simply say, this is a normal planetary movement, a predictable alignment of celestial bodies moving through space. Nothing mystical, just physics. But astrologers see something very different. They see a temporary energetic pattern forming in the sky, one that can amplify certain experiences on Earth. During alignments like this, 3 things tend to intensify: important decisions, emotional clarity, and personal breakthroughs. Think of the universe like a massive ocean. Most of the time, the surface feels calm and predictable, but occasionally, powerful cosmic tides begin to shift beneath the surface. And when those tides move, they don't just affect the water, they affect everything connected to it. In the same way, energetic shifts in the sky can sometimes trigger powerful shifts in human awareness. That's why during these moments, people often feel an unexpected urge to change something in their lives, to leave a job that no longer feels right, to finally begin the project they've been delaying for years, or to release a relationship, habit, or belief that has quietly been holding them back. These impulses can feel sudden, even mysterious, but many believe they are signals that the cosmic tide is turning. However, there's another side to this alignment that many people completely overlook, and ignoring that hidden side is where the real problem begins. Here's the real problem: most people completely miss moments like this. Not because the universe is hiding them, but because modern life has become too loud. Every day is filled with notifications, deadlines, endless scrolling, constant opinions, and pressure from every direction. Your mind barely has time to breathe, and when your mind is constantly overloaded with noise, something important happens. You stop noticing the subtle signals, the quiet inner feeling that tells you something is shifting, the sudden realization that a certain path no longer feels right, or the strange moment when an unexpected opportunity appears, but you hesitate just long enough to let it pass. Think about your own life for a second. Have you ever looked back at a moment and thought, that decision changed everything? Maybe it was a conversation you almost didn't have, a risk you almost didn't take, or a choice that seemed small at the time, but later shaped your entire future. The strange part is that when those moments happen, they rarely feel dramatic. There's no cosmic music playing in the background, no flashing sign from the universe. It often feels like just another ordinary day, until later. Only in hindsight do you realize that something much bigger was unfolding beneath the surface. And that's exactly why the window between March 5th and March 6th is so interesting. Because energetic shifts like this often create what scientists would call ripple effects. A small decision during the right moment can send waves through your future. A message sent at the perfect time, an idea acted on immediately, a door that appears when you least expect it. But here's where the real tension begins. During cosmic shifts like this, two powerful forces usually appear at the same time. First, something new begins trying to enter your life. It might look like an opportunity, a realization, or a path you never considered before. But at the exact same time, something else begins trying to leave your life, an old habit, a limiting belief, a relationship dynamic that has quietly reached its expiration date. This is the moment where many people freeze. They feel the shift, but they resist it. They hold on to the familiar because it feels safer than stepping into the unknown. And when resistance wins, the moment quietly fades away. The opportunity closes, the clarity disappears, and life returns to its usual rhythm. But here's the strange part about the March 5th to 6th alignment. There's something hidden inside these 48 hours that makes this window far more powerful than most people realize. Something ancient skywatchers believed could accelerate change in ways that feel almost impossible. And once you understand what that hidden force is, the entire story begins to take a very unexpected turn. Throughout history, certain moments on the calendar have carried a strange kind of energy. Moments that feel ordinary on the surface, but later become known as turning points. Times when something subtle shifts in the atmosphere of life itself. Ancient astrologers believed the universe occasionally sends quiet signals, brief windows when the energy around us begins to change direction. Moments when the universe almost seems to whisper, "Pay attention, something is about to move." And according to many spiritual traditions, the period between March 5th and March 6th carries one of those rare energetic signatures. Because during these 48 hours, something unusual happens in the sky. Three different cosmic forces begin to overlap at the same time. And when that kind of alignment occurs, the effects can feel surprisingly personal. The first force is connected to a lunar phase associated with closure. The moon has always symbolized emotional cycles, beginnings, endings, and the quiet release of what no longer belongs in your life. During certain lunar moments, people often feel a deep urge to let go. Old emotions rise to the surface. Unfinished thoughts demand attention, and suddenly you realize that something you've been carrying for months, or even years, is ready to be released. But the moon is only the first layer of this alignment. The second force comes from a planetary movement linked to sudden realizations. This kind of energy tends to create moments of unexpected insight. A thought appears that changes how you see a situation. A conversation reveals a truth you didn't notice before, or an idea arrives so clearly that you wonder why you didn't see it earlier. It's the kind of realization that makes people say, "Wait, everything makes sense now." But what truly makes March 5th to 6th fascinating is the third layer of this cosmic pattern, an energetic window where intentions and awareness seem to become unusually powerful. During windows like this, many people report feeling more sensitive to the direction their life is moving. It's as if the background noise of everyday life becomes slightly quieter, and the deeper voice of intuition becomes easier to hear. When these three forces overlap, something remarkable can happen. People experience what many spiritual teachers call the clarity moment, a sudden internal shift where confusion transforms into understanding, where uncertainty suddenly becomes direction, where a question that has been lingering in your mind finally reveals its answer. This clarity can show up in different ways. Sometimes it arrives through an unexpected event, a message, a conversation, or a coincidence that feels too perfectly timed to ignore. Other times it appears as a powerful inner realization, a quiet but undeniable feeling that says, something in your life needs to change. And when that moment arrives, it often feels impossible to ignore, because deep down, you know the truth has finally surfaced. But here's the important part. Moments of clarity are not random. They often appear during energetic shifts like the one forming between March 5th and March 6th. And when clarity arrives during one of these windows, it's usually trying to point you towards something important, a new direction, a hidden opportunity, or a decision that could alter the course of your future. Which is exactly why ignoring that signal during these 48 hours may be one of the biggest mistakes someone can make. Because the next part of this alignment reveals something even more powerful. Something ancient astrologers believed was hidden inside these rare cosmic windows. The first cosmic asset that becomes available when the door begins to open. The first cosmic asset hidden inside this window is clarity. Not the everyday kind of clarity you get after thinking about something for a long time. This is different. This is the kind of clarity that feels like someone suddenly switches on a light in a dark room. For weeks, maybe even months. Something in your life has felt confusing. You've gone back and forth in your mind, questioning, analyzing, trying to figure out what the right move should be. But during energetic windows like the one between March 5th and March 6th, something unusual can happen. The fog lifts, and suddenly, the answer feels obvious. You begin to understand things that didn't make sense before. Maybe you recognize the true dynamic inside a relationship. Maybe you finally see a pattern that has been repeating in your life. Or maybe you realize that a path you've been hesitating about is actually the one you were meant to take all along. This kind of clarity often arrives quickly, almost like a sudden realization that appears out of nowhere. One moment you're uncertain. The next moment you feel an unmistakable thought. Now I understand. And during these moments, something interesting happens inside the mind. Your intuition becomes sharper. It's as if the signal of your inner voice suddenly becomes stronger than the background noise of doubt. Ideas come faster, decisions feel clearer, and the direction forward becomes easier to recognize. Some people describe it as a moment where their inner compass suddenly locks onto true north. But here's the important part most people overlook. Clarity by itself doesn't change anything. It only becomes powerful if you listen to it, and this is where many people lose the opportunity. Because when clarity arrives, doubt often appears right behind it. The mind starts asking questions. What if I'm wrong? Maybe I should wait a little longer. Maybe this isn't the right time. So instead of acting on the insight, people delay. They postpone the decision. They convince themselves to wait for the perfect moment. But cosmic windows like this rarely stay open for long. The energy that creates clarity is temporary, and when the window closes, that powerful sense of direction often fades back into uncertainty. This is why ancient astrologers believed that when clarity appears during a cosmic alignment, it's not just a thought, it's a signal pointing toward a shift that is already beginning to unfold. And those who trust that signal often find themselves moving into opportunities faster than expected. Which brings us to something even more fascinating. Because clarity is only the first asset hidden inside this 48-hour cosmic door. The second asset is even more powerful, and once it activates, it can dramatically change how quickly opportunities begin appearing in your life. The second cosmic asset hidden inside this window is momentum, and this is where the story becomes truly fascinating. Because clarity alone doesn't change your life, but when clarity meets action during an energetic window, like the one forming between March 5th and March 6th, something unusual can begin to happen. Things start moving faster than normal. Decisions that might have taken months suddenly unfold in weeks, sometimes even days. An idea you've been thinking about suddenly finds the right opportunity. A conversation happens at exactly the right moment. A door that once felt impossible suddenly begins to open. It can almost feel as if the universe is quietly pushing events forward. This is what many spiritual traditions refer to as cosmic momentum. Think of it like pushing a massive stone at the top of a hill. At first it barely moves, but once it starts rolling, the speed increases quickly, momentum builds, and suddenly the movement becomes unstoppable. Energetic windows like this can create that same effect in your life. A single action taken at the right moment can trigger a chain reaction of events. One opportunity leads to another. One conversation leads to a breakthrough. One small decision begins creating a path you never expected. But here's the twist that many people don't realize. Cosmic momentum doesn't only accelerate positive movement, it accelerates everything. If you take action aligned with growth, clarity, and purpose, the results can expand rapidly. But here's the twist that many people don't realize. Cosmic momentum doesn't only accelerate positive movement, it accelerates everything. If you take action aligned with growth, clarity, and purpose, the results can expand rapidly. But if someone remains stuck in old patterns, fear or resistance, those patterns can also accelerate toward their natural ending. That's why many ancient traditions taught that energetic windows should be approached with awareness and intention. Because during these moments, your internal state becomes more powerful than usual. Your thoughts carry more influence. Your reactions create stronger ripple effects. Your decisions shape the direction of the next chapter more quickly. In other words, the universe is not forcing anything to happen. It's simply amplifying whatever energy you choose to move with. And that realization changes everything. Because once you understand how momentum works, you begin to see these moments very differently. They are not random cosmic events. They are accelerators, rare windows where movement in your life can suddenly speed up. But even momentum is not the most powerful force hidden inside this cosmic door. Because there is one final asset connected to this alignment, an asset that many people never recognize, even when it's right in front of them. And once you understand this last piece, the true meaning of these 48 hours becomes impossible to ignore. The final cosmic asset hidden inside this window is alignment. And this is the moment where everything begins to make sense. Alignment happens when three powerful forces come together at the same time: your intention, your actions, and the energy of the moment. When these three elements finally match, something remarkable happens. Life stops feeling like a constant struggle. The resistance that once slowed everything down begins to fade, and instead of pushing against obstacles, you begin moving with the current of opportunity. Suddenly, ideas start appearing at exactly the right moment. The conversation you needed finally happens. The person who can help you moves into your path, and opportunities that once seemed invisible suddenly become clear. It can almost feel as if life itself has shifted into a smoother rhythm. Not because luck suddenly appeared, but because your direction is finally aligned with the moment you're in. And that's why the period between March 5th and March 6th is so interesting. Many astrologers believe this short window creates a rare environment where alignment becomes easier to access. Not automatic, but available. A moment when the universe briefly opens a door that makes it easier to move toward what truly belongs in your life. But there is something extremely important to remember. The universe never forces change. It doesn't push you through the door, it simply opens it. You are always the one who decides whether to step forward or stay where you are. Which brings us back to the question we asked at the very beginning. When this cosmic door quietly opens, will you notice it, or will the moment pass unnoticed, while everyday distractions keep your attention somewhere else? Because the truth about these 48 hours is simple. They are not about predicting the future. They are about recognizing a rare moment when the universe whispers something powerful. Now is the time. So as March 5th and March 6th arrive, slow down for a moment and pay attention. Not to the noise of the world, but to the signals around you. The unexpected conversation that suddenly shifts your perspective. The idea that appears in your mind out of nowhere. The strange feeling of clarity that makes you see something differently than before. Moments like these often seem small at first, easy to ignore, easy to dismiss, but sometimes those quiet moments are actually turning points in disguise. Because the universe rarely announces change with loud warnings or dramatic signs. More often, it whispers. A thought that won't leave your mind. A realization that keeps returning. A door that appears where there used to be none. And during rare energetic windows like the one between March 5th and March 6th, those subtle signals can become even more meaningful. Not because the universe is forcing something to happen, but because it is offering a moment of possibility. A short window where clarity, momentum, and alignment can come together. But the door will not stay open forever. These windows are brief, just 48 hours, and if you are aware enough to notice the opportunity when it appears, that single moment could quietly begin changing everything about the path ahead.